Navigating Dimensions, Reminders for Remembering, Awakening and Ascension Guidebook by Lisa Transcendence Brown. Page 72 to 77. The Birth of a Soul. That first breath ignites the soul within the physical form. The breath of a light expands, and with this expansion transmits all imprints and coding into the physical form. That first cry represents all tears that will occur for the soul to emerge beyond the density within. This imprint is in frequencies, and all experiences are representative of those unique frequencies within. This imprint transmits and calls for all souls to honor soul contracts to respond. These responses fulfill soul agreements of interaction to resolve their own duality within. All interactions are physical form of soul agreements. What occurs in the physical lifetime is in response to the unique soul's imprint. Scenarios and experiences are created that are necessary in order to resolve perceived karmic debt. This exists only in the lower realms, and once the human ego, logical, reasoning, rational mind is formed, to then provide opportunities of choice to reverse human energy to that of the higher self. In the early years, those with extreme karma, discordant frequencies, may have experienced traumas in order to assist in the forming of the distorted ego. The more perceived trauma, usually the more distorted one's reality becomes. Yet, this was each soul's choice to endure, embrace, release, and transcend from within. Only the human sees traumatic, for the soul understands this for what it is. Memories are holographic imprints that can be seen. The more karma imprinted, the more extremities one will endure. Memories are not stored in the physical, but do exist in the physical for one to access for the purpose of this experience. When that frequency is cleared, then one moves up in frequency, and those memories are no longer necessary other than to access energetically in order to help another on their soul journey. This is why so many experience memory loss. It is not a loss, as there was never a memory to start with, just a holographic scene created to bring forward those things necessary to play out a scenario or role. Two frequencies are imprinted: fear and love. All other responses are created by the human mind, ego, to mask and create barriers for one to maneuver through for the sake of their human experiences. These are but the obstacle path of the soul. Every moment is a choice. What one chooses will determine one's path. That choice will reaffirm a frequency of fear, dense, or love, light. That choice triggers a frequency response. Fear will reinforce any density within. Love will allow in light in order to expand the light of the soul. Each will reinforce karma dependent on the frequency chosen. Each choice will be to dim or brighten the light of the soul. Each choice will transmit a frequency that the soul will then experience in the physical reality. What used to be karma is now just conscious choice from the higher heart mind. Many cannot comprehend it is this simple and keep seeking other things. For those, they must continue to seek until they come back to the same space. Everything is present that one needs to see in order to choose. All lives are accessible now with the tools to understand them. The veils have been lifted to allow for consciousness, and with consciousness, one has choice. Choice is what will determine how much pain and suffering one endures. Suffering served a multitude of purposes for the soul. It opens hearts and allows one to choose differently, therefore resolving any lower realm karmic debt. In times of suffering, one will ask for help, where pride previously stood in the way. When strong masculine energy lets go of pride and finally asks for help, their heart opens to receive. A closed heart cannot receive. It cannot receive the abundance that is available, and there are too many blocks in the way. Blocks of dense energy are perceived as betrayal, hurt, pain, distrust, pride. These blocks maintain a victim mentality. A closed heart maintains separation, survival, and protection of the I self. It allows the mind to think for it, so it does not have to truly feel and let go. It says, I can do this myself, or this is mine. It doesn't feel it can trust another, and it fears pain. Suffering takes away the strength of the human ego and choice to avoid. Suffering forces one into their heart and to desire something different. This desire exists within the heart. Suffering opens the heart to receive light in order to allow lower frequencies to leave. Anger is a quick response to cover up the frequency of fear. Crying is the ultimate release of human separation from one's soul. Here, I will speak of karma of the lower realms. In the higher realms, this is no longer exists. Yet, for the unconscious or newly conscious human, it does. Rewording to a frequency loop will assist in shifting one's understanding of this. Yet here, we address karma as it is widely understood. Then comes the test of karma. Karma is created or reversed in the moment of choice. It is not what one does when choice is taken away. Suffering is a symbol of karma. It symbolizes that there is an opportunity coming to choose. This opportunity is where one can change their entire reality and release that frequency that manifested that suffering. One chooses to maintain that same frequency or step into a higher frequency of what is right according to the higher heart. One always has a choice to honor their soul self. The rest of the scenario will be determined by that which you choose to do. Not doing is still a choice. What you receive shall be up to you. The human reality perspective is present in the human thinking mind and exists in a limiting reality. Life happens, and one tries to think manifestation here. For the human being, the heart is subject to the mind. It operates in a linear format, seeing time as a separation of moments, like past, present, future. It observes and has an opinion, judges by seeing good and bad, right and wrong, and duality in everything. In this reality, one is victim and is its own biggest critic and abuser. This one tries to save, fix, or change that which is not good enough by its own human learned standards. Things are personal here. Individuality and separation exist, and decisions are made on an individual basis as well. One operates according to or in conjunction with the logical, reasoning, thinking mind. Growth and abundance are measured in things, comparisons, accomplishments. Age and knowledge are measured in time, years, experiences. I, me, my, he, she, they exist, and one feels alone. When one is unconscious, they function here. The soul perspective exists in the heart. The soul creates their reality according to transmissions of the heart. The mind is subject to the heart, and they work together here. The mind is one of an observer in order to study and learn, in order to remember again. Yet there is no opinion or judgment attached. Every observation is for bringing in more light. There is no right, wrong, good, or bad. Duality is acknowledged as a belief and separation of the lower realm human. It sees that there are a multitude of purposes in every moment, and here one does not interfere in another's ability to choose. It understands perception of karma and the need to allow another to experience their own path of duality in order to resolve their own lessons necessary for growth. The age and knowledge of a walking soul is according to the amount of light that they hold within, and knowledge is streamed through light and the universal heart mind. Time is non-existent. One moment exists with versions of moments being acted out in a multitude of dimensional parallels. Parallels created with every choice one does or does not make in the physical realm. In any given moment, one can raise or lower the vibrational frequency and step in and out of different realities. These realities will play out according to the transmission of frequencies from within. Hidden density materializes faster, so one must bring up anything hidden if they wish to participate in their own materialization process. Everything on a soul level is in reverse, backwards, opposite of the physical reality. Every moment is a test to see if one chooses their own soul and to bring and anchor more light in. This choice transmits a vibrational frequency to the soul that one is serious and they are ready. There will be continual tests to strengthen the heart so that one chooses on their own and not just when they are suffering. When one can maintain a certain frequency through repeated consistency in each test, more light is introduced for expansion, and the vibrational frequency is elevated to maintain a new materializing reality. Veils were placed for many upon their physical birth, so that one could not fully see. These veils lift for each who chooses the path of their higher self-soul. With each choice, more light can be introduced by the soul, allowing for additional code activation and changes in their cellular memory. Human cellular memories are only visible holograms of frequencies, so that the physical eyes can see transmissions by the logical and limited human mind. As the dormant crystalline light body DNA is activated, the higher heart and the higher mind begin to merge, and the transmission is one of higher frequencies, powered by the energy of the higher heart. The human's purpose is to clear all low vibrational debris from their energy field, so that what one now sees is the purity and exquisiteness through the frequencies transmitted by way of the unified higher mind heart. When one awakens, they are awakening to their own soul, which exists within them as light and sound frequency. These frequencies are felt through the heart and heard with ears as tones that one cannot yet understand. This is where one starts to question things, as their heart knows one thing and their mind says another. Duality manifests as conflict within, and one can see truth through feeling it in their physical human self. All duality within is manifested or materialized in one's outward reality. Many have built a fortress of walls of protection around their hearts to drown out the frequencies of density within, represented by the conflict, chaos, and never-ending chatter of their own human mind. When it is time for the soul to start to emerge, there are a certain set of codes that are activated. All things manifested in an outward reality that block access to the frequencies existent within the heart are removed for the individual soul to suffer to loss in order to open access to their higher humanitarian hearts. The harder one tries to maintain those walls of protection, the more suffering one is bound to endure. Manifestations of duality exist in anything that one values over any living soul or thing, i.e., the self Mother Earth, nature, animals, etc. Suffering will manifest in loss of finances, relationships, chronic health, and more. Everything that can get one's attention to make a change. Where one is ready, already operating at a higher frequency with less low vibrational karma to resolve, they may experience falling in love to open their heart. Their otherwise closed off heart. For each soul, this will be indicative of their own soul's blueprint, which can be changed with conscious choice. Frequency light codes are existent within and are activated with each introduction of light, the soul. The more one chooses their soul, the more light will be introduced in for assimilation into the physical. Codes are continually activated as more light is introduced and integrated. The veils lift with every activation of ascension. Every individual has choice. That choice is to choose their soul. How fast one grows will be indicative of how much light one is willing to allow in order to release density previously held and suppressed within. For the path of each soul is unique. The only consistency is the choice of light. This is why some grow faster than others. It is how much one is driven to choose their soul and bring in more light. The more light one chooses, the faster they will grow into their own soul and purpose. Every time one chooses something over someone or life, they remain in a reality of duality for another experience to endure again. Every time one chooses love, they maintain or access more light. All souls have the same access to unlimited resources and knowledge. This is not measured by age, time, or even experience. This is accessed through the activation of a light frequency every time one lets go of the old belief systems or individualized human ways. When all bodies, mind, body, soul, have integrated enough in light, then a pivotal point is passed. When that occurs, the soul steps in, and complete peace and sense of home is felt within. There are no words to describe what one experiences here, and it is different for each according to their own journey here. What you do have is this magnificent, vibrant energy that radiates out from the entire being and transmits out to all other beings of light. Separation falls away, and the universe no longer exists anywhere other than within. One truly exists in service of humanity. Every choice is then one of love and light and one again.